But in this video, we're going to talk about praising and how praising others or kids, there's ways to do that is very helpful, and there's ways to do that that's very hurtful. Unfortunately, most of us do the hurtful version of it, unless we've been taught otherwise. So the hurtful version of praise is judgmental. It's evaluative. So let me give you an example. You cleaned your room. What a good girl you are. There's a judgment. Can you see that? You're a good girl because you cleaned your room. But even that, just you're a good girl. You're such a good girl. That is judgmental. And it's a statement that they will then, like, think about in your own life, when someone compliments you, like that kind of a compliment, a judgmental type compliment, you're always such a nice person. I can always trust you. Something like that. You're such a good person. In your mind, what are you instantly doing? It's not a fully true statement, right? So you're evaluating it. So in this example, it says, I'm not good. I'm not so good. I stuffed some toys under my bed. So the mom says, you cleaned your room. What a good girl you are. And the kid starts evaluating themselves and thinking, oh, I can't even tell my mom the truth about myself. She wouldn't accept me because I stuffed some toys under my bed. Like, it's just not helpful. In fact, somewhere in these books, and I cannot remember where they actually did a study on people, like kids they used evaluative, judgmental praise on them when they were testing them, and kids that they used the other one, which is what I'm going to talk about in just a second, which is describing what you see or what you feel coming out of them. So descriptive praise, and praise that basically focuses on effort. The kids that were praised evaluatively scored lower later. Like, they retested them again and they scored lower. And the kids that were praised on their efforts scored higher on the second time around, taking a very challenging test. So anyways, it's somewhere in these books, but I just thought that was really interesting. So here's the better way to praise someone. Describe what you see or feel. I see a lot of work has been going on here. All the blocks are back on the shelf. Every record is in this is an old book. Every record is in its jacket, and every single marble has been picked up. So this is the kid hearing this, and they're literally going through and being very descriptive of what the child has done. Okay? So all that's truth because it actually has happened, right? So then the mom might say, it's a pleasure to walk into this room. That's her perspective. So for her to walk into this room, it's a pleasure now. And here's what the kid hears and thinks. I really know how to clean up when I want. So it's about them. It's actually more focused on them. When you use judgmental type praise, it's actually more about you. And when you use the descriptive praise, it actually focuses on the child. It focuses on them and their growth and their progress. And it's very encouraging for them. And it helps them want to actually continue to progress and achieve. So let's do a few more examples. This scarf you made me is beautiful. Very, very nice. So that's the judgmental, right? She says, I wonder if he really likes it. I wonder if he really likes it. But now he's going to do descriptive. So look at this rich red color and these thick fringes, all the rows and rows of even stitches. So he's just describing what he's seeing in the scarf that she's showing him. And it's wide too. This scarf will really keep me warm on a cold day. Now here's what she thinks. He really likes it. Okay, here's another one. This is lovely. You write good poetry. That's her judgmental phrase. And he's thinking, does she really like it? But here's the difference. I'm very moved by your poem about the eagle. I especially love the line, the beat of giant wings. And then he's thinking, I can write good poems. Tomorrow I'll write another one. So when people are descriptive, it's kind of like, let me see if I can give you another example, like in more terms I would personally get it. Like, let's say in my church, we get to take turns sometimes giving talks. And so I give a talk at church, and someone comes up to me and says, and they're just being nice. They just say something like, wow, that was an amazing talk. You're such a good speaker. Something like that. I might be thinking, are they just saying that to be nice? I don't feel like I'm that good of a speaker. I was really nervous up there, and I'm not even sure if my words were coherent. So that's how I might respond to that. Whereas if they came up to me and said, wow, that part about, and they go and they describe something from what you actually said, that really touched my heart, or that I really connected with that. That is a totally different response, because it's like, oh wow, they really got something from that. I'm so grateful that I gave that talk today. I'm so grateful that helped them. Like, there's a big difference, right? So, okay. So we want to describe the descriptive praise. So here's just a few more examples of not a good idea, more judgmental versus descriptive, okay? So you're a good girl. See how that's a judgment? You're a great actor, also a judgment. You're finally becoming an excellent student. Very judgmental. You're so thoughtful. I use these phrases. Like, this is hard for me. I'm really having to work on this. You're so thoughtful. You're probably also, okay, so now you've heard those. So now let's compare the difference between descriptive praise that focuses on, actually we'll get into one more level of that, but here's some descriptive ones. I see you put your shirt on with the tag in the back. You zipped your pants. You put on matching socks, and you buckled your shoes. What a lot of different things you did. See, it's focused on them and their accomplishments. You stood tall and straight, and when you gave your big speech, your voice filled the auditorium. Seems to me like you're putting extra effort in your schoolwork these days. I noticed your compositions have margins, your reports are done ahead of time, and you've worked out a way to teach yourself vocabulary. Here's another one. I love these yellow balloons and red hearts. Like, it's just describing a picture if they brought you a picture that they colored. They cheer me up. I feel better already just looking at them. Okay, so there's another form of descriptive praise that is also beneficial, and that's where you praise character building things. So, for example, you've been working to memorize that vocabulary, I can't even say that word, vocabulary list for over an hour. Now, that's what I call perseverance. So you're giving them a character trait word connected to something that they're doing, and that builds that in them. Oh, I'm somebody who can persevere. This is teaching them like really cool stuff. Okay, here's another one. You said you'd be home at 5 o'clock, and it's exactly 5. That's what I call punctuality. Here's another one. You noticed that the plants were dry and watered them. That's what's known as taking initiative. So you're praising qualities that you actually want to encourage. Without judging them, like saying you're a good girl. Those are kind of those absolute statements. Okay, so here's another example of descriptive praise of attributes. Let's see. So actually, we're going to do something that you fill in the blank. You only ate a little sliver of cake even though you really love it. That really takes, fill in the blank. Self-control, I'd say self-control. That's one I would use. Okay, number 2. Well, let's see. They actually had some examples. Determination, willpower, self-control. Okay, here's another example. You were all set to go to that concert, and yet when it was canceled, you quickly made other plans. Now, that's what I call being, what are your thoughts? Here's their examples. Flexible, resourceful, adaptable. All good quality traits, right? All right, number 3. You stood up for your friend even though the other kids made fun of him. That's, fill in the blank. Friendship, loyalty, courage. You could use any of those or others that you think of. So I hope that that's helpful, because praise is something I'm like, oh my goodness, that was a big eye opener for me. I never would have connected those dots but as I think about it, I'm like, you're right. There's praise that people use with me that I don't like. It doesn't actually help me. It actually makes me feel almost even more insecure about myself, and like I have to be perfect, and I'm not allowed to make mistakes. And then it can actually make me feel like I have to be more, pull more in to myself instead of getting out there more in the world. And so these were some helpful things. This is not all inclusive. There is so much good stuff in these resources, but I have learned for myself that validation is so powerful and I've also learned to like give myself grace as I'm learning to practice with it. But as I practice with it, I see results. I'm amazed at how less I trigger people, and how much better I feel.